So this is going to be a quick video which is going to show you exactly how easy it is to create a campaign with Machine Mail. So underneath Machine Mail you'll see the Create Campaign button, and all you need to do is select the list that you want to send it to, hit the subject line, so we're going to say April's used equipment specials. So you want to make sure your subject line doesn't have much in the way of free or bargain or any of this other kind of spam language that you usually get in spam emails. So you want to put in an email header, which is just a little paragraph that goes just before your machines. So if we put in check out some of our stock that's just arrived before end of financial year. Okay, and you can put in an email paragraph if you want to, but you'd mainly use this one if you're going to do something a little bit more complex. So if you're going to have an open house featuring a bunch of machines or something like that, you can actually put details of that in there, like the address and all that sort of stuff and the times you have the open house on. So that's what you'd use the email paragraph for. In this case, I'm just going to leave it blank. Then you can select the color that you want to include, and this will generally default to your last used color. If you don't know what color to use on your email, there's a bunch of free tools like this one that we've got up here. This one's Colorzilla. It's just an add-on to your Chrome, and it will let you select the color which is going to work online. So the color picker will also do the job for you if you want to guess your color, your company color. But Colorzilla will give you this particular code here, which is an HTML color code. So you want to get the HTML color code that's right for your business or the brand that you're sending out. But once you've got it once, you don't need to do it again. So we're going to leave the color as is. We're going to include a hero image, and then we select the template. So in this case, I'm going to go for the 3x3 template, and then on to the next step. So in this step, it's just a matter of selecting the machines that you want to include. So you can search for a particular machine up here if you've got a lot of them online at the moment. I'm going to choose a selection of the latest ones listed here. So obviously you spend a bit of time making sure the machines match up to that list that you've selected. So I've selected 8 items. I might actually go back one step and select one more item just so it shows up nicely on a 3x3 email template. Okay, 6 items, 7, 8, 9 items. Okay, so now we're at step 3 after we've selected the items. So this step's just as simple as dragging and dropping the items that you want into the order that you want. So what you think will most suit your customers. What are they going to be interested in the most, down to what are they going to be interested in the least. And once you've done the dragging and dropping, you can just scroll down and you'll see a preview of how that email is going to look. So we can see there's 9 machines there. The first machine you select will automatically generate the hero image if you put the hero image in as the option that you want to choose. And if you do a couple more adjustments, you'll see this will reload in a second or two, and it will show you exactly what it will look like. So once you've got your order correct and you're happy with your order, on to the next step. So this is where we add the from details. So who is this email going to come from, and if your customers reply to it, who is it going to go back to? So in this case, I'm going to use myself. So you can put in your individual sales rep's email address, you can put in a marketing email address, but it's actually much better if it comes from an individual. Marketing emails don't tend to come from individuals. So it's much better if you send this email from your individual salespeople's email addresses. And that way when they reply to it, they go straight back to the guy that knows about the machines. We can put in the campaign title, so this one's just going to be the April equipment campaign. So that way you can refer back to it and see the stats later on. So the preview text is another optional field. So preview text is used by a lot of mobile phone email clients. So I'm just going to put April's machinery specials in here. You You can have text of up to about 90 characters in there. And I'm also going to send a test email. So in this case, I'm going to send an email to Nick. He's our marketing director at Machines4You. So he'll get that email and he can look over it and make sure he's happy with the content before we send it out. So you can send as many test emails as you like. You can send them to other sales guys within your company or whoever else might be interested. And then I'm going to schedule the time to send. So I can either send it now, which will send it within the next 15 minutes, or I can schedule a date up to 2 weeks in advance. So I'm just going to choose to send it now. And once you click the send campaign, it says, do you really want to send this campaign? Click OK, and the campaign successfully sent. So we've tried to keep managing your lists as simple as possible. You want to have as few lists as you can, but just as many as you need. Because the more lists that you have, the more management time there is spent figuring out who's in what list. So underneath your My Lists, you can have as many lists as you like, but we recommend you keep it to as few as possible. Otherwise you just won't use them, or you'll forget who's in what list. So you can add lists based on location, so state-based lists, based on brand interest or machinery type, or based on how big the customer is to you. You can have your A customers, B customers, C customers, or prospects versus existing customers. You can segment your lists however you like. Give them a list name that suits, so you can easily find them when you're sending emails to them. So you can add emails manually. So if you're just updating a list, and say you've got 5 or 6 guys that have come into your database in the last couple of days because they've contacted you, you can just hit the add emails manually option and then just put a bunch of emails in with a column between them. So if there's 4 or 5, just add them to the list and they'll go into the latest emails. Or you can import from a CSV file. So if you're running a CRM or you're using any other software, accounting software, you can export those emails and import them to this list in bulk. Of course, our system will take care and make sure that any unsubscribed or blocked customers are taken out of those lists, so you don't have to worry about adding them again. So if you try and add someone that's unsubscribed, it'll automatically remove it from the list, just to make sure that you comply with all the email regulations. You can also search your emails. So if you've had a complaint from someone and they really don't want to be on your list, so I'm going to use my own email address here, you can search the list and that'll find that email address in any of your lists, and it'll show you which list it's in and give you the option to delete the email from this list. So you can use that to ensure that any customers that you've got that really didn't want to get that email, you can send it to them again. So that's managing your lists. It's quick, it's easy. You just want to do it before you do every email, and that's the easiest way to keep on top of it. So once your first campaign is sent, within an hour you'll start receiving stats on it. So you'll find the stats under Sent Campaigns, and you'll see every campaign you've got has the View Stats button on it. So if we click on View Stats, this will bring up the stats report for that individual campaign. So the campaign has the campaign title, when it was sent, who it was sent from, and that's also who any replies will go to. You get the subject line, which lead it was sent to, and you can view the list there. You can view the actual campaign and see what was sent out. And also it gives you the time the report was generated on. So this time the report was generated is very important because someone else may have clicked on the campaign since this report was last generated. So there's a little icon for refreshing the report next to it. So every time you're seriously looking at a stats page, it's good to click that refresh icon, because that'll bring in any other opens that may have happened even several weeks after a campaign. So the first thing it gives you is the overall performance of the email. So how many emails went out, how many were interacted with, so this means they opened them at least. How many bounced? So a bounced email is an email that's been unable to be delivered because that email box was full and gave a full result, or that email no longer exists, so that customer may have moved, closed companies, or changed their email address. It will also give the number of people that have unsubscribed, So they're the guys that have opened your email and thought, I don't want to be on this list, and I've gone down to the bottom and hit the unsubscribe button. So it gives you an interactive pie chart where you can see all those in proportion, and then it moves on to the interacted part of the email. So this gives you the open rate. So we've got a 32% open rate on this particular email. In the manufacturing industry, an average open rate is about 12%, so this is actually pretty good. And then there's a click rate. So the click rate is how many guys have opened it, but they've actually clicked on something that's caught their eye within the email. So there's a 10.7% click rate here, and that's not too bad either for industry averages. But the most important thing, and the thing for your salespeople, is which machinery did these guys want to look at? Which machinery did they interact with? So you get a breakdown of all the equipment that was included in the email, and it tells you the number of unique clicks that equipment got and also who clicked them. So if you click on this view unique users, it'll bring up a pop-up box which shows you who clicked on it and how many times they clicked. And you can judge how interested a customer is in that piece of equipment by how many times it was clicked. You might see emails appearing more than once in here. That's when an email's gone to one person that he's forwarded on to his boss to take a look at it, or maybe that email's gone to a general info email address and both business partners have opened it up. So that's when you'll see an email address appear twice, because the email on your list is not actually the same email as the guy that opened it, whether it's been forwarded automatically or manually. So those emails are really important because that'll give your sales team an idea of who's interested in what type of machine before they've even started putting leads through and really started shopping for something. So that's a really powerful tool for your team. So you'll see these numbers update as time goes on. These are available from the first hour after you send the email, and of course they'll fill out as time goes on, and we'll give you the last update on the stats at 7 days. Anything that happens after 7 days is pretty negligible. We'll get most of the results within the first 24 to 48 hours. So that's the stats, and go ahead, get into Machine Mail, play around with it, send a few test emails to yourself and see what you think.